a lot of guys are living a crappy life with their friends, especially at tertiary, where you're getting drunk and you're chowing people's girls because you think you're cool. I'm watching you. I'm not connected to what happened. But my algorithms in my brain are now calculating that your moral card is a bit flawed. The day I become president and I have to dish out tenders, I'm not going to give them to you because you might chow my wife.
This is the Hustler's Corner.
Hello guys, Hustler's Corner, Biko, Miss Budache and Josie. First up guys, that like button, 1, 2, 3, click, 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 click. I want those likes guys. Click, 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 thank you. And subscribe, click the subscribe button. And don't forget to switch on that notification bell. You have to always say these things because then they encourage people to do them. And then the more you guys do them, the more the algorithms favor us. So that's why I always insist that you guys must click the like and click the subscribe button so the community grows. Remember, the goal is to go to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. We will be on 100,000 subscribers. And then from then on, we'll set a different goal next year, which I do believe by the end of next year, it's highly possible for us to be on 2, if not 300,000. Because by 2025, we need to be sitting on a million subscribers. It's going to be a long journey, long road. But if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to put in good content, it's highly possible. And we've seen that happen. I've got him back. You wanted him back. We did an episode and we asked you guys, what do you guys want? You requested him back. And everything that I just saw when I was watching those comments is like, we need another one, we need another one, we need another one. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm happy to see you. I don't think we're surprised that people wanted this again. I think we were just asking. But I think you've sparked a fire in me, and that's why we need to asbambi energy, specifically on camera.
Yeah.
Your energy is very infectious. Anyone who's probably sat with you, who's worked with you, it's inspiring, man. And your work ethic is insane. I watch your lives on Facebook, on TikTok.
Yeah.
Again, I'll never stop saying thank you.
Thank you, bro. I really see you going somewhere.
Sure.
As I always say, that I want to be a part of that growth. I want to contribute in your growth.
Sure.
You're a voice that definitely people should hear.
Sure.
They don't have to agree with you. They don't have to like you. But I kind of feel we need these types of voices.
Yeah.
We're breeding a new generation of South Africans, guys. And as we are breeding a new generation of South Africans, we're breeding young people that are not like us, that are not going to all go look for a job. And there's nothing wrong with looking for a job. We want you guys that are hustlers, that go and create jobs. And I'm glad that I am a part of that movement. Shouting and screaming, let's create jobs, let's start businesses, let's, support each other, etc. And a big shout out to Trip.
Likao.
Trip, you already know, Likao. Big shout out to a brand new flavor of Mofa, it's called Passion Pusher.
Mo Fizzle.
It's Pushy Passion. So let's get into it, bro. Like when I was watching the comments,
Sure.
Somebody commented then, they even said, you guys are already feeling this thing. You have already given it a name. It's a virtual
Mkhukhu. No, like yes, big melikube virtual corner.
Yeah.
Because we test Blome corner is a ring, but obviously virtual. But yeah, virtual Mkhukhu seemed to click a little bit. So we'll see how that goes.
Looks like people are liking it. I also watch a lot of your videos on all different platforms. I see you putting in work, bro.
I'm trying. I like what you were saying about putting the target of subscribers, 100,000.
Yeah.
Hustlers Corner SA, end of 2022.
Yeah.
200, 300,000 next year.
Yeah.
A lot of our people, because I coach people financially, a lot of us don't really have a plan for life. We were given plans when we were young. We were told, "Hambe skele, hambe vasit, hambo skeles." After that, it's skeles until you die.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have a financial plan. By 2025, how many assets will you have had?
I'll be a billionaire by 2025.
Come on.
Well, that's my goal. That's always been my goal. 31st December 2025, I'll definitely be worth
be a billionaire.
I might not necessarily have all of it in my bank account, but I think my net worth,
in terms of assets,
everything that that I'm building right now, I'm nowhere near there, and I don't know how I'm gonna become a billionaire, but I just know that it's gonna happen.
You're gonna work.
Penuel, I'm one of those people who say, "This I'm going to get it done," or "This I will become." When I was a kid who was unknown, DJ Fresh was interviewing me, hosting a YFM drive time show.
Sure.
And I was one of the young guests. I was, I think, 18 or 19.
Sure.
Sitting next to him, So what's your name? Where are you from? Who are you, young man? You know what's the first thing I said to Fresh?
Sure.
I was like, my name is Busiso. And before we start this interview, call me. You're such a big inspiration, DJ Fresh.
Sure.
But let me tell you something. I'm going to sit on the chair that you're sitting on. I'm telling you, bro.
Is that what I'm supposed to be saying? With success, Buddha. One day I'm going to be sitting.
That's what happened.
No, candles light other candles, especially when the candles are ready. But what you were saying about the subscriber thing is you were talking about putting in work, that you're going to be putting in work. And you speak about me putting in work. And that's why I mentioned the energy and the infection. We need to put in the work. And the self-belief is something that a lot of people don't have for various reasons in this country. And for people that have watched Kanye West's documentary on Netflix, Genius, what you were saying as an 18, 19-year-old was saying, I am prophesying into the future because I believe in myself that much. And I hope that when people watch our conversations and listen to us and watch how you move, hopefully watch how I move as time goes by, it's going to inspire them to be like, I've also got a fire inside me. I also want to be ignited. You know, like you said, we've got a new breed of thinkers. You know, we're not June 76 youth. We obviously were struggling to find our identity. So I'm a coconut and twang, and, you know, because we grew up with the white kids. You know, do we try to be Skasi or do we try to go back to be I'm African? But I think we're moving towards being futuristic. And I'm quite excited about what's going to come. We're seeing leaders on social media every day putting their hands up. I think Nhlanhla Lux and Operation Dudula are some of the guys who are like, we're doing it. It means he was inspired by people out there somewhere. Just like I was, just like you were. And I'm hoping that we're going to ignite other candles as well and ignite this country, if not the world.
Talking about Nhlanhla Lux, I actually think on the next episode we should sit down. We should have a three-way with myself, yourself, and Nhlanhla. Imagine
Nah, we must get him.
What do you guys think? Should we have a three-way interview with myself, Penuel, and Nhlanhla Lux? Actually, I think somebody once said they would pay to have me sitting with you and Nhlanhla Lux. Let's make it happen.
No, let's make it happen. So I want to speak about Nhlanhla. I met Nhlanhla last year. So I've got a big mouth.
That's why you're sitting here.
I think you have a bigger mouth.
I also have a big mouth.
I've got a big mouth, and my big mouth caught the attention of a wealthy white man called Rob Harrisov. Third generation rich money in this country. His grandfather started Anglo-Val. He's not on social media, but his friends in New Zealand, overseas, even within the country, got my video to him, and he requested a sit down. He's based in Cape Town, but he decided to come through here. And the day I met him, I met Nhlanhla Lux as well. We were meeting him at the same time. That's why on social media, when people see the pictures of me and Nhlanhla and Rob, they're like, they've been captured. Young black boys, these white people are quick. And in that meeting, initially I was annoyed. You know, I hope at some point we might organize a sit down with Unota. But I remember...
Let's make that happen
I met Unota through you, and in the first 5 minutes,
Yo, Justice, you remember? When they met immediately, it was fireworks.
I was like,
I gotta get both of them on camera. Yo, it was like a fight, my man. But a fight with words.
Sure.
But a beautiful, friendly one. It was not. There was no animosity. There was no negativity. There was no hatred. It was all brotherly love. But the sparring.
Yes,
of the back and forth.
Yeah, there was fireworks. I was like, look, you are delela. But I could feel the passion and the love in what he's doing. So the same thing happened with Nhlanhla when I first met him. Hey, how's it, bro? So what are you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, Baba, hey. For who wants to get captured? So, you know. But I got to watch his work, his moves. I've watched some of his interviews. Hey, he's sharp, man. And it's weird that we have a lot of similarities. You are at a level, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You are at self-actualization, which is where you've transcended materialism and all these things. That's why you hug trees. That's why you're growing your hair and getting in touch with your spirituality. That's why you're not bugged by noise and those kind of things. Some of us are trying to get there, and I was surprised at how self-aware he is. You know, and it's going to be very cool meeting so many more young people out there who are self-aware, who are like, nah, we know it's bigger than money. We know it's bigger than the ANC and the struggle. We're trying to build a great world. And, you know, I think that's what you guys are trying to do with crypto. That's what you're trying to do with property. That's what you're trying to do More Fire is a symbol, I think, for a lot of people that maybe don't understand. It's not like, oh, we're pushing this drink. It's like we're pushing the idea that you can achieve anything you want.
Thank you. You get it.
You know what I
right?
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited, and I'm glad that we've got a Mkhukhu like yourself who have the vision. I've complained a lot that time allow takes, nama bus, nama bush, nama funeral parlor. They normally don't have a culture of succession and finding the next thing. Like, let's fund the kids who are going to trade, who are going to be in IT. The Jewish timers do. The Afrikaans timers do. But you're doing it. You're saying, Grootman, I've been in the game. I was a kid at some point. Game recognized game. So I see where you guys are going. I may not understand it. I may not fully agree. But clearly there's a market out there who's listening to you. And I'm saying, I'm Smuda. I know a lot. But maybe I don't know something. And look, let's chat. Let me see where I can help. And let's push.
Yeah.
I'm excited and I'm very thankful.
Thank you, man. And I totally agree. I also always think no man is an island.
Yeah.
And lapes corner njengabantu njengama South Africans.
Sure.
And actually with what has happened to the whole world, we need each other.
Sure.
Whether we like it or not,
Sure.
You know, so if we move in that way and we recognize newer, younger, fresher, more talented people of our own, we have to show them support. Because at some point when we work with each other, the ideas from the elders and the wisdom is always transferred to the young, and the young are able to use their energy and their youthful and fearing type of spirit and energy to go out there and disrupt and shake up things. Because honestly, esikhathini esiningi bathi uma ungeke uzuyihlutha angeke uzuyithola, because abayiphethe abafuni ukuyidedela. So sikhathele global esihlale esikhuluma, ingakho mina I had to go and disrupt, because I was sick and tired, and I got myself into a point mentally where I knew, good yazin, I need to be in this frame of mind if I'm going to fight this war that I'm going to fight with my own product, right? With my business partners. Number one, we have to start with this. We have to be we have to conscientize ourselves and know that this is a protest project as much as we're building a business, but we're basically going to go out there and show ukuthi young people, young black people are smart, they're more than capable, they are educated, we've got the right energy, and we are whom we all have all been waiting for. We're not going to go, and in the beginning, of course, we knocked on all these different doors. Nobody gave us support. We didn't get money, which was fine. And not everybody will. But it doesn't mean when government doesn't come to your aid, you should always just be sitting and crying on all you being a victim. This is what was done to us. Hey, nobody's helping us. No, I don't like that. I always say to people, yes, guys, thoughts become things, but they only become things if you act. Because action changes things. It's ACT, bro. So the only way you can shake up things and show people that you've arrived is by acting. So when we started the movement in the beginning, a lot of people never understood it, but we had to disrupt. We had to disrupt. We had to make the noise. And what I loved is when we started, I think that was early 2013, 2014. The culture has grown. A lot of young people, they're now starting their own things. They're disrupting. They're believing in themselves. They're going, and I love just that energy and just seeing it grow. And before I know it, I was starting More Fire in my early 30s, bro. I look at myself now, I'm getting gray. I'm in my 40s. So wait from being called Grootman when timer starts coming. Because from Grootman you start hearing time saying, hey, uncle. And then from there you start hearing, hey, timer. I think you know.
It's game over.
So I have to play my role right. And how do I play my role right? I have to play my role right by living what I'm preaching, by not complaining, but by doing. And that's what I love about you guys. You guys are not only talking, but you're acting. You're talking about Ntlanta, he's on the field, he's on the ground. You're talking about voices like yourself, like the Noters. I may not agree with a lot of the things that you guys are saying. I love the fact that you're not afraid to say them. You're disruptive and you are challenging the status quo. You're challenging us even as your Grootmans. There's matters where you guys even criticize us. And that's what we need. Those are the voices we need right now.
I struggle, Sbuda, probably like you do and other great thinkers do. I struggle with having a lot of ideas streaming at the same time. Like yabo njengamanje, I'm thinking DJ Fresh is not South African. Nhlanhla Lux, foreigners. I'm thinking I want to speak about More Fire and how you guerrilla marketed it to hell. Putting yourself on Forbes before you were on Forbes. That's like a Jay-Z story of like trolling and having doors closed on you, but foster. And I know you believe in foster.
Yeah, foster
And then I wanted to start with, anyways, I'm apologizing I have many thoughts streaming. You said ACT, action changes things. I just want to highlight that.
Yeah.
Action changes things.
TBT, thoughts become things.
Sure.
But thoughts cannot become things if you don't act.
When the time is right, both of us should know. He should know, it's time. And I'm like, yeah. Julius Malema tried to show it's time. And the elders said no. And it's like, but you groomed me. I'm following in the footsteps of Nelson Mandela. He mentioned Peter Mokaba, I think. You know, we're speaking now about young people. We grew up with Tupac, Lauryn Hill. It's always been young people that changed the world. I think Ubantu Olomisa was a general. I don't know if it was in the Transkei. I think he was in his early 30s. Thomas Sankara, I think, was running Burkina Faso in his early 30s. It's always been young people.
Steve Biko
it's always been young. Steve Biko as well.
The 76
it's always
revolution
been young people.
was young people.
So and I don't really like Letimer for my own personal reasons. But Kgalema Motlanthe, ex-president Kgalema Motlanthe once said in an interview, because it was at the time where Julius and them were making noise, and they were like, why don't you guys speak to the youth league? You know, do they not understand what? And Kgalema said they are young. We were young at some point. We need to let them be young, and we need to let them say what they want to say, because we're old. We're now diplomatic. We understand the things and whatever. They might have new ideas we've never thought of. So let them be. Yes, if it gets a bit much, we'll speak to them, but we must never let them stop being young just because Sesbadala says it, no, mfana khulunywa nje, ungabo sebenziso fuck. And you're like, the game has changed. You know, so I'm very sad that our succession planning, even in our homes, is bad. And when you speak to, I believe in best practice, global best practice. If you speak to the world's billionaires, the world's most successful people, they speak about having a mentor and a protege. So who's your mentor? DJ Smoo. Who's your protege? No, what do you mean? Penuel, you're 35. There has to be a kid somewhere or a couple of kids somewhere, and they don't have to be men, they can be women. Young girls who are like, you've taken certain steps. Usbu is 50,000 steps ahead. You're 5,000 steps ahead. I'm 5 steps ahead. Lead me. Let's lead ourselves so that by the time you Richard Maponya age, you're in your 90s, and you're still hustling because you're like, I mean, I don't retire. But I'm already like, I've already found the kid. And you know, I hope when we have this conversation with Onhlanhla Mhlaphe and Abonota, part of the state captured discussion and why it makes so many black people uncomfortable is because we haven't realized that as an elder with some resources, not necessarily money, but access, opportunities, it's your responsibility to identify talent and give it to the platform to shine. And what happens when you identify the talent, like Winnie Matigizela did with Julius, is that talent, once you've captured it, because Winnie in effect captured Julius. That boy, when he goes out there and he ignites the world, will do it making sure that he protects you and he takes some of your vision that Mama Winnie wanted this for us. Peter Mukawa wanted this for us because you gave them the platform. It's not a matter of, it's like, no, these guys closed the door when we were trying. I tried to explain to this guy what was happening and they didn't want to listen. So you end up becoming an enemy when you were meant to be my father. So it makes me really, really sad. And we as a newer generation, we really mustn't close doors for young people. We have a fundamental responsibility to find younger, more passionate, more energetic, because we're all going to get tired and sick and have arthritis. Find younger people that are going to keep lighting the fire and building on the vision. Have a 100-year plan. Oh, Dak, you don't have a 100-year plan. We have a December plan. Nestokfela, ayo koko bazohlukanisa imali ngoDecember. See, that's your plan. If I'm like plan 2025, Jobusho and I know when I'll be a billionaire, or at least that's my goal. What's your 2050 plan? I'll be old then. Yes, but you have children. Where are they going to be? What are you going to be teaching them? Are you just sending them to school? Be whatever you want, my child. I want you to be happy. Have a vision. Yes, we want our kids to be happy. Yes, we want them to explore the world, but they must know my father, Usbu, this is what he believed in. He believed in music. He believed in changing lives. He believed in disruption. So I might be an actor. I might be the president of Canada. Your great-grandson is Barack Obama of Canada or somewhere else. It's like my great-great-grandfather stood for these things, and this was our family vision. I'm still in some way carrying it forward because we have a plan. So that makes me very, very sad. But I just wanted to touch on that. And I wanted to speak about DJ Sbu. And I wanted to ask your opinion on what we call foreigners. Because DJ Sbu is not South African. I'm not sure about the Fergusons. There were stories of Ukoni, Shona, may he rest in peace as well, of them also not being South African. I think Jasid from Bongo Muffin. We've got, I didn't think even Oskido. You know, my point is, Elon Musk is a foreigner in America. Trevor Noah is a foreigner in America right now. Your thoughts around foreigners, and is there a chance that we're going to miss the nuances of foreigners because there's a propaganda that's being pushed, and we might end up bashing people that are actually here to build with us because they are us. It's just Ongamla created these borders and said, no, Sbusiso's not, he's not Mlotshwa, he's not one of your people. I'm like, no, I can't speak to this Grotman. You know, or is there something we're missing somewhere there?
Very, very interesting and good inputs. I think before we move there, I don't want us to forget on this episode, we really have to pass our regards, our condolences. Our hearts go out to the family of the Moy family, Tumi Moy, better known as, excuse me, DJ Dimplez. You know, we came up together. I saw him from how hard he worked to put together his first pop bottles brand or festival, and how he has grown that brand over the years, and just participating in pop culture and music and just the youth culture scene. It was just so sad.
Yeah.
That immediately after burying Rick, and then we are losing Dimplez.
Sure.
You know, and I don't know what happened, but it saddens me. Somebody I've known in the industry, somebody, you know, we came up with for years and years. We'd from time to time work together on some things. Same thing with Ricky. And it's not only just celebrities. It's not nice when we bury young people. Let me
It's
put
not.
It wasn't nice to bury Pro Kid, Linda Mkhize, may so rest in peace. It wasn't nice to bury Double HP,
Sure.
may so rest in peace. These guys are young.
Yeah.
These guys still have not lived.
And
These
Pro Kid's
guys-
younger brother, City Lights as well.
Satellites, I was about to say, Usanza, you know, these guys have not seen their kids grow up, get married. These guys have not retired to saying, I'm retired, I don't want to work hard anymore, I'm in my 50s or I'm in my 60s. And life is, even when you're still in your 40s, you're still young, bro. There's a long life to live. So, who are playing a very big part in inspiring young people in this country. So, with those words, may DJ Dimplez' soul, may Tumi Moy's soul rest in peace. Rest well. And everybody else out there who might have lost their loved ones as well. Death is never a good thing. Coming back to the foreigners issue.
Thank you, Spoon.
Now,
I wanted to disturb you before you speak about foreigners, because we have the platform. There's a series, it's a documentary on Netflix, I think called 13th, which showcases the bogus arrests of black men in America. You know, because in America what happens is you don't want cases to go to trial. Because what happens when a case goes to trial is you might get a harsh sentence. So they normally convince a kid who's house break-in, they convince that kid to settle. Just take 2 years, because if it goes to trial, you might get 10. And the kid might say, I didn't do it, I wasn't there. It's like, yeah, I hear you, but if we go to trial, even if you didn't do it, you might still be found guilty. So just take this deal. So it's come up that a lot of black kids are not getting justice in America. And we've heard a lot of stories in America, crack cocaine, which was introduced in the projects there, guns that were introduced so that blacks could kill each other. You know, we lost City Lights to gun violence. We lost Rick to depression. And at some point, we have to talk about the pressure that black men are under. Not necessarily that he was under pressure, but because one of the things that causes depression is a baggage that men are under. I'm not sure what took DJ Dimplez. I read somewhere, and it's not verified, that he may have had a brain aneurysm. You know,
they said hemorrhage or something. Well, I read it somewhere also.
Sure. So I just spoke about succession planning and making sure that we get young people to ignite. And these are young people that you're speaking about who are brilliant. And I love that you mentioned other people that have lost people in their families. There's a lot of talented young people in families that are being lost. while you're trying to build. We live in an age where we're getting vaccinated with trial medication, which it's come out now as over 1,000 side effects. And I'm just really scared and worried for a lot of young people with the various things that are hitting us. And I don't know if we're having enough conversations around avoiding gun violence, avoiding depression, avoiding eating well. So one of the things we're not speaking about is dying from things like diabetes or whatever, where you could have just eaten better, exercising. You know, I don't know if we're being aggressive enough, but I just wanted to touch on that before you speak on foreigners. But may DJ Dimplez's soul rest in peace. And my condolences and sympathies to all his loved ones and everyone who's also lost someone in their families recently.
And then thank you, bro. And sorry, what are you talking about? Vaccine? You said vaccine side effects. What are you talking about?
So we got a report that came out last week, I believe. And obviously, media propaganda is focused on Russia and Ukraine. Pfizer had been forced to release the report on side effects because...
Or is that the report that they're saying is going to come out after 75 years? Is that the report?
It might be.
Okay.
It might be. So a lot of people maybe still don't know because of media propaganda that vaccines take years to approve. Medication takes years to approve. It goes through a lot of regulation. So COVID was seen as a unique event, and because of it, a lot of rules were suspended. So one of the rules was sending out trial medication, which hasn't been tested over years, like let's say the flu vaccine or whatever. One of the things is like, look, once you have sufficient data, just share it with the world. We want to know what are you seeing? You know what I mean? And so Pfizer had to send out a report, but it hasn't trended. The media hasn't covered it in terms of the number of side effects that some of these vaccines have. At the same time, they still don't want to speak about it. And look, I understand it's capitalism, it's whatever. A lot of people are going to be held liable, even though our government has said these pharmaceuticals won't be held liable if something happens. They don't want to speak about any potential deaths that have been caused by the vaccines. So I wasn't linking the vaccine to any of the deaths that we've seen. I'm speaking generally in terms of what we're putting in our bodies. You know, along with we're shooting each other, along with depression because we don't have money, we don't have jobs, we're beating our women. Let's also just begin considering and having conversations around what are we putting in our bodies and what exactly is it? Whether it's medication or it's food. Because DJ Sbu is the greatest thing of all time. Also, if you could dodge pass, if you could dodge STIs, if you could dodge getting shot, and then you die from something stupid like every day. Or you went and you took medication you shouldn't have taken and you got addicted to it and it ended up killing you. So we just have to have robust conversations around avoiding death and making sure that talented people, especially talented young people, we need to protect them as much as possible and explain to them you have a job and a responsibility. So make sure you're not... I heard recently Trey Songz and Chris Brown have been accused of rape. I don't know what's going to happen to those cases, but just move better. You've spoken about you don't believe in cheating. It's who you are. You don't see value in it. So because you don't cheat, that means we're not going to hear scandals about, Sbu slept with me, he raped me. You're like, people know I don't sleep around. So how do we protect our talent from doing stuff like that? But I just wanted to touch on that before you speak about foreigners.
Yeah, man. And the foreigners issue is very sensitive. It's sensitive in a sense that a lot of us, because it's now all over social media, that language. The previous episode you spoke about the power of words, the importance of language. And when I watch a lot of videos on social, for instance, I don't even hear, and this is some people, some people don't even put it correctly and say undocumented
illegal foreigners.
Or illegal foreigners.
Undocumented illegal.
Sure. A lot of the people forget those words. And a lot of people end up getting, sometimes, you know, in the rush of things, and maybe they're protesting, it's easy for, you know, news people to easily just interview, and it doesn't mean that you're not saying illegal, but some words were called skulu. But what I'm saying, it still is very important when you speak. The other day I was speaking about one of my youngsters, Uriya, about her being sued by Bonang.
Sure.
Had she said allegedly, apparently, right?
Game changer.
Such things.
Some, just a few. So I've heard.
Thank you. Words are power, right?
Game changer.
Words are power. if I watch other countries' opinions or politicians' opinions or the citizens' opinions on illegal foreigners.
Yeah.
For instance, let's talk about the USA.
Yeah.
Or let's even talk about Ukraine that is being spoken about right
Yeah.
now. No country, even including our own African countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, Zambia, nobody wants anybody coming into their country illegally.
Yeah.
And nobody wants anybody at all. Let me say, I wouldn't go into any country that I'm not from
Yeah.
and find refuge in that country. Or maybe the country embraces me and then I still find it within my heart to still commit crimes in
Yeah.
that country and do things that are illegal in that country. Kufana nokuthi ungene kwami, so yazenzela.
Yazi bengifuna ukusho lokho Sibuda. The first thing I wanted to say when you speak about language, the previous minister, I think of social, I don't know if it's social development, but ogade osasa nama grants, umama uBathabile Dlamini, has now been found guilty of perjury. So she's going to be getting sentenced, and some people are saying it must be harsh because she's a big figure, it must send a message. And one of her responses was, I don't believe I lied in court, but if I did, it wasn't intention. So people need to understand the power of language. That literally, if I'm like, yeah, Sbu raped that chick, next thing you're being sued for $1 million. Instead of, I've once heard someone on social media in a conversation stating that, so that when Sbu sends a summons, would say, I'm suing you, you're like, but this is what was actually said, and it'll save your life. You might not even be killed, because sometimes people get killed for words. Then the second thing I wanted to say is I saw a tweet that said, again, speaking to language and foreigners, when people from the Western world, the Americas, the Europes, when they come into Africa, they're called investors. When Africans go to the Western world, they are called immigrants. And the propaganda works. One of the conversations we need to have is which illegal, undocumented foreigners are we speaking about or are we focusing on, and why? Because we're missing a lot of the, let's call it what it is, white foreigners. Because we've just been conditioned. Come on. And the other thing I wanted to say was on the foreigners chat, on the home chat, because I fully agree with it. No one comes into your home unannounced, unwelcome. And even back in the day when we didn't have borders, wawungangeni esibayeni sakwaZulu ungacelanga ungathumelanga messengers. And it's sad because of propaganda and the media and politics that the politicians who are comfortable speaking about removing borders and those things, they live in these high walls, in these estates. Because to what you're saying, no one would go to a place, no normal person would go into a place unwelcome. And when you get there, you're not going to go to someone's house saying, Buddha, come through, next thing you're like, how phone yam? Now I've taken your phone when you welcomed me into your home. So it's very sad for me, and I am worried that the nuances, the nitty-gritties of this conversation are going to end up hurting the wrong people, and the people we're meant to be attacking are probably going to get away scot-free, because a lot of the crime that might be happening might be from white foreigners. A lot of the white, maybe even Chinese foreigners, we don't know if they're documented or not. We focus a lot on the poor black guys in the squatter camps, in the informal settlements, and we should, by all means. But we might miss the biggest criminals, the guys bringing shipments of drugs here, the ones who are actually bribing politicians and the cops. Because a lot of these guys in the informal settlements, they don't have much. They might commit crimes, but it's crimes of survival. Not that they're fine, but it's smaller crimes compared to, and I'm saying we need to focus on everyone and say, but all of you guys are not welcome. The white people that got here in 1652, and then they came and they shut on us, and they came and they took our land forcefully, and they didn't show a spirit of Ubuntu that we'd given to them. So we need to have a nuanced conversation and see how we fix it, so that when we do sort out getting rid of undocumented and saying, we don't mind you being here, just come through the gate and ask us. Do the same with everyone else. And if Abelungu are like, look, you guys have still never apologized. And part of the apology has to be like, look, we're fine, you South Africans, you're what, but you need to come to the table and say, we were foreigners. we were unwelcome here. We came and we destroyed. And just like we as white people now are saying, the foreigners are bad, they must go. We used to be foreigners in this country and we did atrocities. We'd also like to apologize and fix those things. And then when you guys chase away those foreigners, please give them a chance like we've been given a chance to come in and contribute to this nation.
And to wrap up that illegal foreigners conversation, and I like that because I want us to wrap it up and park it so that we can park it for our next episode with Nhlanhla. I think so. I really think
I'll chat to him. I've got his number.
Oh, you got his number?
Sure.
Okay, so I used to move with Nhlanhla when he was young. When I was moving with Pro
Kid.
Yeah. Pro Kid introduced me to Nhlanhla. Nhlanhla was still like, the guys were still young at the time. He was part of Pro's entourage back in those days.
The world is small, eh?
The world is so small.
Before I came to Joburg, I studied all Huma Segela and Abo Miriam Makeba. And they always used to tell these stories of we used to hang at this thing and play together. And I was always like, where do young, cool futurists, where do I go once I get to Joburg, where I'm going to hang out with the guy that will be president and CEO? And because I want to be there.
I get you.
I want to be there. But anyways.
That's part of networking.
So I'm constantly surprised at how small the world is because the guys who are hungry and who want to change the world seem to constantly find themselves. The tribe constantly seems to find itself.
You do find your tribe. And the fact that there's cameras right now, the fact that you're sitting here, that's how I found you.
Yeah.
Because I could hear the content and I followed it up and it captured me.
Sure.
And a lot of the things I did not agree with, some things you piss me off. Well, I want to contribute.
Yeah,
I need to find this boy. I need to sit with him. And I like that. To go to in such a way that challenge him mentally in such a way that
sure.
And I'm fascinated and I like people who do that.
Sure.
Through their God-given just normal gifts of just speaking. And that's an incredible thing to have. And quickly, just to wrap up the illegal foreigners conversation is, there was the Berlin Agreement, right?
Yeah.
That they had. I don't know what it was called. I don't know if there was the Berlin Agreement.
Sure.
Where they all agreed that they're going to split up this continent amongst themselves.
Sure.
Right? And they did so. Portuguese went, British went to some countries, the French went to some countries, they colonized us.
Sure.
They did whatever they did. So initially our ancestors did not have any borders.
Yeah.
Our ancestors, were all Africans, and
Sure.
they say abantu abamnyama. But with, be that as it may,
Yeah.
right now it's 2022. We need in every country that you're going to go to.
Yeah.
And I'm basically just saying, any person that wants to go to any country has to follow the rules.
Sure.
And make sure they are in line with the law.
Sure.
And they're documented and they are legal.
Sure.
That was basically my that's where I want to leave it, but I would like
Thank
for
you,
us
Buddha.
to revisit it when we sit down on time.
No stress.
That's going to be a beautiful one.
We have to. I've heard him chat about it, and I think he understands the nuances. But I'd like to hear specifically what their plan of action is, because Herman Mashaba has raised it before. Gayton McKenzie raised it with the Patriotic Alliance. We do have a problem of unwelcome people. I think maybe it's a better way to put it. Unwelcome people that are coming to destroy our nation. So yeah.
Let's move on.
Sure.
We said we'll also speak about, there's so much to talk about, you.
No, we can chat forever.
And
in an hour we can chat for 50 hours.
I can imagine, we said we'll also talk about, we've spoken about mental health. We spoke about it even in the previous episode. We spoke about youth. Yeah. Youth succession and just believing in young people. We just spoke about foreigners. And so some things have happened over the past, the last time we said again was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
May have been.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cape Town, your Cape Town trip.
Yeah.
Your Cape Town trip, the previous episode, the first question I asked you was, are you captured? And then you told me about Mr. Rob Hatzoff that you spoke about a little bit earlier, even here today. And I saw that you were recently in Cape Town and you were with him again.
Rob, my feeder.
Now talking about Rob earlier, you didn't mention that you were just with him a few days ago. Let's talk about your trip.
I'm glad you raised it.
Your Cape Town trip, yeah.
Like I said before the last episode, I'd gone to Port Elizabeth to speak there. I was in Cape Town last weekend and in Durban to meet with some people there. And then this weekend, I'm going to East London. I'm quite excited about meeting people. I think, like you, I love meeting people and changing lives and, again, trying to find our tribe.
Yeah.
Because you never know in a group of 200 people, the DJ Smoothes of the future that are going to be like, I once met this guy here and what.
Yeah, and there's one where you spoke so well. I watched that video.
Yeah.
I think it was somebody's 40th.
Yes, in Durban.
Yeah, that was a great talk.
Sure.
You spoke very well.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, Sbu. So Rob, when I met him last year with Unhlanhla, extended a hand. Just like you've extended a hand, just like some of the black multimillionaires I've met have extended a hand, or Mama that like what I have to say have extended a hand. He was one of the people that extended a hand last year when he met me, and he said, look, if there's anything I can do, let me know. His hand is different, unfortunately, because of the history of this country, because he comes from the privileges that come from colonization and apartheid and all those things. So when people see his hand stretched out to a person like myself, it looks like, oh, we've seen this movie before. We saw it with Nelson Mandela. We've seen it with the Mazotti family, with Julius Malema. We saw it with the Guptas, with Uzuma. This guy wants something from you, you know. And I would like to think everyone, if they see value in me, would like something from me. It may not be something sinister. It may be something like, I want to have a chat with you. You know, who do you know that you can connect me with? Can we work together? I want you to work for my company. It could be something sinister, like, look, I need you to protect us. You know, we're under attack as the privileged whites. We never had those conversations, but anyone that knows me knows that I'm very upfront and straightforward. So we've spoken about
It's
capturing.
very upfront. The first thing he asked me when we met is, how much do you get paid?
Hola malini
Hola malini.
angitshele fast hola malini ntwana.
I try to dodge the question, he goes back to it. No, just tell me. I had to tell him.
I know how much Spuda makes, by the way, so you can hit me up.
Don't say anything, I'm busy dealing with my tax issues. But anyway, yeah.
So we spoke about being captured. We spoke about his privilege. He fully acknowledges and embraces his privilege. We spoke about this country, the fact that he's worked with media mogul Rupert Murdoch, that he's worked for Johan Rupert, another guy who's seen as the face of white monopoly capital. And then, because I grew up Nabelungu, because I've studied whites, because I've just studied human beings and how they move, I know that Abelungu Bayasaba in this country. They know what they've done. They know their privileges. They know it's nice times. And Cape Town is beautiful. I think you go there quite regularly.
Yeah, I've got a little pause there.
There, solid. So they need protection. Nelson Mandela did a great job for them, did them a solid. Obviously, they negotiated. We speak about Codesa today, and it was like, look, protect us. We don't want to die. We don't want to be chased away. We love this country like you. And Mandela was like, look, I'm an old man. I haven't seen my family for a long time. Look, we can chat because no one wants people dead. I don't want to see black people dying. You don't want to see white people dying. So what can you guys give us? Sadly, we've seen what they've given us, and a lot of us are not happy with it. We got the RDPs, we got the grants, of which we think grants are actually killing the psychology of black people. We got the BEE shares, which seem to have gone to a select few. You know, a lot of people don't celebrate that we've gotten black kids into university, black kids can travel overseas, black kids have started businesses, your More Fires, your Drips, for example. We don't celebrate those because we're angry and we still have a large mass of the poor. But we have these conversations, and Urob constantly, like yourself, like anyone else who has, let's say, the means, has tried to reach out to the black voices that sound like what he probably wants to hear. That's why he's reached out to Vusi Tembewayo, to Musi Maimani, to Herman Mashaba. He's funded Musi. He's said it. It's not something hidden. In the same way Patrice Motsepe funded the EFF recently. But we're not saying the EFF is captured by Patrice, because his hand is different from a white Rob Hersoff hand. So for me, the joke, which I'm going to keep it going for as long as possible, Rob, is I tell Rob, people are saying you're trying to capture me. I'm trying to capture you.
Like you said the last time.
Yeah, because you have access and you have opportunities and you have resources. And I need to try as best as possible with the little access and platform I have to try and take what you have and give it to some of the talented people that you and your type of rich white people wouldn't gain access to. And in that way, it becomes a win-win. But in terms of being captured, I unfortunately haven't been captured. He bought me a Coca-Cola. I said Coke yesterday on a video, and people were like, oh, cocaine. He bought me a Coca-Cola when we first met. And then this weekend at a beautiful wine farm, he bought me a nice breakfast. So if I'm being captured with those things, guys, but on our behalf, because what they want is not far from what we want in the modern world. Obviously, it's from Mkhukhu and all those things, and some of them, not him specifically, some of the rich white people don't want to let go. Vele. But some of the things they want that we want is to create jobs, to lower crime, they just have a way that they think will work. We have a different way that we think will work. So we have to find ourselves in the middle, and we can fight them. What. Chances are they'll win. They've got the access and the international community to probably come kill us or whatever. Or like Mandela did. Mandela came and they took us from 0.0 to maybe 500. They promised us 0.2000. And I'm saying, look, from 0.500, Mandela was an old man. He sold out 50%, but he gave us a platform. So now it's up to us to then move from 0.500 to 0.1000. We'll be judged. We'll be called sellouts. It's part of the journey. But the kids at 0.1000 will be like, Nelson Mandela sold out, or Penuel sold out. But here we are living in Spain and we own big castles. Let's not sell out. You're like, whatever, man. You may not appreciate us, but we've gotten you somewhere. You guys have internet and those things, and we can move forward. So
You've just spoken about something very important we spoke about young people earlier, and right now we're speaking about a network.
Yeah.
We're speaking about people who are reaching out to you and saying, hey, if you would like a hand, you're sitting with me right now, you're sitting with Rob the other day, etc. But how does a young hustler that's watching us out there access those billionaires, those unknown billionaires and millionaires?
Yeah.
And those are the circles that young people need to be moving. Those are the moves that they need to be making, being around such people. And you and I both know the sad thing is a lot of black brothers and sisters, or grootmans or sisters, when they get money, they literally want to disappear.
Yeah.
They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be bothered. They've got high fences in their homes.
Yeah.
They travel the world. We literally can't see them. We'll see them on camera. Hello. Saying hello. So there's a class here. People keep walking. So it's always great to say hello to the people. So what I wanted to say is, I know ukuthi sometimes ukuthi ufinyelele phezulu udinga abantu abathile.
Yeah.
Because sibiza ukuthi ama connection.
Sure.
You know? And what motivational speakers would usually say to people is network. What is a new way of networking if I'm a young person who would like to be, not necessarily in Penuel's shoes, but I want to be like you, where I'm able to now meet these unknown billionaires and millionaires? How do I use my phone camera and the Wi-Fi that I have to get myself closer to such people who might end up opening up or raising a hand to open up my network to assist me one day so I can grow my hustle, you know?
Again, I've got a lot of things streaming through my mind at the same time. One of them is the trolling conversation we had last week. Catching people's attention by, and every day I'm making a video. And more fire until you're like, hey, people like Spuda, this guy. And then once I have your attention, it's up to me how I convert it. The true answer to networking and connections.
In 2022.
Not even in 2022. So from when you're young, you need to begin building a brand. And we need to teach our children that everyone is watching you from when you're young. Kids you're at school with, or Tisha, what, they're already building algorithms of who you are, who you were. Even if you're a loudmouth kid who was causing disruption in class, the day you become a big deal, your teacher will be, you always made noise in class. I can see why you're a big stand-up comedian today. You know, because that was your brand. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys are living a crappy life with their friends, especially at tertiary, where you're getting drunk and you're chowing people's girls because you think you're cool. I'm watching you. I'm not connected to what happened. But my algorithms in my brain are now calculating that your moral card is a bit flawed. The day I become president and I have to dish out tenders, I'm not going to give them to you because you might chow my wife. You know, so people need to be cognizant of what brand they're building. If it's time to work, put in the work. If I'm like, like, let me go because tomorrow these guys are going to be like, you were there with us, dog. Over and above that, building your brand, using the platforms you have, getting mentors is very much about work. Some of the greatest kids you're going to meet are kids that came to you and said, Spuda, I want to push you more fire. Because they can't sit with you, let's say like me, and make noise. You were ngikuchame with my words, ngikushelile over the internet. Le antwana mhlawumbe ayikwazi ukukhuluma, he's shy, but he's like, I want to get close to Spuda, and he's given the country a handout and said, I'm selling more fire, come. And you're like, some kids are like, he's given me an in, so I'm going in. I want to be next to Usbu, and if this is my way in, let me do it. I want to meet the CEO of this big company. I might not be able to sit with him, but what's the lowest way I can get in? Let me go work there. Let me apply. Let me get this. And you get in. I've met some of the biggest CEOs in the country in that way, by banging a door down in my little way. So I opened a fish and chip shop in 2012, which is mine. It was called Penuel's Fish and Chips. And in doing that, I then started sending emails to Kevin Hedderwick, who was the CEO of famous brands, Osteers, Wimpy, and those companies. I sent emails to the guys at Nando's, and I just kept trolling. I don't know if it's trolling, but I kept hammering. And my story was, I've got a fish and chip shop, so there's already a common interest. I want to meet you. And you'd be surprised at how many guys are willing to sit and share knowledge. You need to remove this black thing. You need to remove this tribal thing. You need to remove even the foreign thing, and you need to be like, I like what to strive Masiyiwa from Zimbabwe is built with Kwese, you know, or what is built with EcoNet in Zimbabwe. I want to meet him because that's a fountain of knowledge, and you need to use whatever you have. One of the things that was streaming through my mind is when I went through my Forex period a couple of years ago, I started meeting yellow bone, hot, fat ass girls. You're so hot. A lot of them gain easy access to amachita that have money because bayashisa. All the guys want to be like, hey, Dana, achir. Some of these girls are getting in there with their hotness, and they're sitting and they're keeping quiet and they're listening and they're learning. And when a panel, because say, how you doing? She's like, oh, I like you. When I start conversing with this girl, because we're now having a conversation, I'm not there for her bums and her what. She's like, you know, Penuel, I can connect you with this guy. You know, Penuel, I've actually heard this is how RFQs work. This is how they use what they had. And there's a, I think it's a meme or a quote, start where you are, whether it's a Tembisa, use what you have, your drive, your what. Have a vision and fight until you get what you want. It's scary when you study the stories of Saul Kersner, even an Elon Musk, some of the wealthiest white people. We're obviously like, but ungamla. And you're like, please go sit with them and listen to the hurdles this guy had to jump, because he's Johan Rupert and he's a dollar billionaire. But if you're a teacher, you teach with white people. If you work in a hospital, you work with white nurses. We are with a white cop. Why are they not as rich as Johan? That means there's something about him, more especially his father, Anton. And try and find that. So I've literally been going out, and again, in building your brand, part of it is showing up. If what DJ Sbu is saying, hey yo Pen, let's meet at 11, I'm there at 10:30, quarter to 11. So that even if it's like, that Lighty talks crap, he'll be like, if someone's like, you know, he's become a big deal, he'll be like, you know, that Lighty used to show up on time. And he respected me, and he was greeting everyone, and he was being polite. He spoke shit on camera, fuck you guys, but I remember that he showed up on time and he respected everyone, and then he thanked everyone, even when he left.
Did you guys hear what he just said? Little etiquette, like being an Uber driver and taking your call. If I'm calling you as your client, you're like, hola. You can't. You don't even know who's on the other side of the phone. Professionalism. When you're an Uber driver, you're already a hustler that is in a professional environment. Just because you're an Uber driver, you're sitting in a car the whole day, it doesn't mean you must not take a bath or just wear short pants and just push in and driving the whole day, smelling a kwapa for your clients. You can't. and I'm not bashing anyone, but I've had some bad experiences.
I can imagine.
Because I Uber from time to time. And I'm much. Sure. Sometimes I'm much. Wow, it's boo.
Sure.
But the way you treated me online,
sure,
I was almost so ticked off. I almost was like, can't
no, let me cancel this thing.
The way you handle the phone, there was no professionalism. Because
sure.
Oh, okay, I'm not that little conversation that I'll have with him for like that 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Added
value in his life.
More professional. Because it's like musicians. A lot of us end up getting in entertainment, and we've never been introduced into the corporate or formal world
of
that
how
teaches
to be professional,
us etiquette and professionalism. And guys, those are little things that you cannot take for granted. For you to move and get to the highest people, to network yourself or your way up to the right people that might take you somewhere with your life, you gotta watch how you move. You gotta watch how you speak to people, your tone of voice, the way you dress, the way you maneuver. All those little things count. The way you write emails, your spelling.
Yeah.
That might end up being your hurdle.
I wanted to say Uber, young people, yeah. So one of the things people will do is they'll see you as a young ntwana, vest in skin in the Uber, and not treat you with the same professionalism they'll do with a white man wearing a suit. Thank you very much. Please take my bag. And you might find this kid is a crypto multimillionaire. It's been fascinating to me because I always wear black, but I wear black tee, black shorts, and slops. The change in mindsets. In the past, obviously they'd send someone to follow you around because you might be a criminal. These days, especially when you get into cosmopolitan upper marketplaces, when you actually rock up like that, they get scared because they don't know who you are. They're like, why is he wearing shorts? Why is he not trying to look, But as soon as they start speaking to you, they start hearing. One of the things Rob has said, and I've gotten this over the years, initially it used to tick me off. Where did you study? Did you study overseas? Why do you speak so well? And I was like, no, I don't want to be defined by a school I went to. This is me. You know what I mean? But I got to understand, look, it's meant as a compliment. Look, you present well, you speak well, whatever. Young people, crypto millionaires going into the internet, which is what you wanted us to speak about. Trolling is a way. It's a bad way to catch people's attention. It's worked for a few people, but I don't recommend it. There was a lady, I remember her, and I'm not going to mention her name because I don't want to give her what. There's a lady who on TikTok has made, I think, 3 or 4 videos bashing me and you. And because I understand the psychology now, I can see she wants our attention, so we can comment and she can be like, Penuel said. Or maybe she's just like, nah, I don't like you. But she's trolling and she's got our attention. Versus all the nice comments. Oh, you did well, so great, what. Obviously, because it's maths, it's fine. But there's more intelligent ways of trolling. I've seen people post pictures hugging trees. Be more fire. And then they tag you. And then you comment. So it's trolling in a form. It's like, I'm doing what you're doing or whatever. But they've caught your attention. But they need to do something beyond that. Like maybe make an ad for more fire. Maybe make a video where someone's hugging a tree holding more fire. And be like, guys, I'm DJ Sbu. You're like, no, you're not. And then you make a nice speech about the story of more fire. If you were to watch that, you'd be like, who's this kid? Why does it seem like he knows? That's trolling, but it works. I don't recommend trolling. What I recommend is writing on mutually beneficial stuff. Like I said, the example of the ad. Finding the pain points of the people you admire, which is tough. What does Patrice Motsepe want? Maybe he wants security. Maybe he wants someone to mentor his kids. Maybe he's looking for a charity that can ignite his brand. If you can find the pain points of some of these guys are actually just looking for a kid that they can pass on what they have. And if you can be that guy they send around, you become their everything, and they're willing to bend over backwards for you. And they call on saying, this is my boy, you pen. And you're like, no, I'm a no. Because they're like, I've been burning to find a kid like you who understands my mind, who's not coming to bash me, who shows up on time, who's dependable, who I can trust. The level of secrets I have, some of our political elite, some of the business people in this country, it's career-ending stuff. But they can trust me because I understand. So something like that. Someone just wants to offload. I've been cheating on my husband all these years and I'm just, what? And I'm like, kullega makulum. And she just finds comfort and she keeps calling you back. Next thing, she's giving you an opportunity to, when we pentenya lo mom, you're like, I'm not. Lo mama just likes chatting to me because she doesn't have anyone to offload to. Johan Rupert, my last point, Johan Rupert sat with Given Mkhari, the chairman's talk or the chairman's report, Power FM. And in that chat, Johan Rupert's a storyteller. Rob and I were cracking jokes because I think I understand Johan because Johan is very Afrikaans. Went to Paul Roos Gymnasium, he loves rugby, he loves his biltong, he loves being on the plus. So he loves people that are like that. Rob Harrisoff is more English, blonde, blue-eyed. Yeah, so, let's have a cappuccino, right? Johan is very Afrikaans. Like, if you want to speak rugby, you've got him. But he was speaking about how they're different, even though he worked for Johan. Johan Rupert in that chat was telling stories because he knows, like other people generally know, that telling stories is meant to bring people closer. It upset black people listening to these stories. They couldn't get over the emotions. Part of the stories given was like what you're asking. How do we get young black kids? And Johan was like, you find them, I will bring all my rich white monopoly capital people and we'll chat. And it died because people bashed him. And Johan Rupert was like, yeah, you guys can go die. And for all intents and purposes, people may not know this, but Johan Rupert is in effect checked out of South Africa. There was a time when his kids were being arrested in the streets and he was like, nah, fuck this. A guy who, a beneficiary of apartheid, you can call him names, you can what, but he has got certain knowledge and platforms and resources that if you could get them, you can access them and then bring them here. You can get, Wutimo Fire is not an alcohol brand, but the guy owns Distel. If you had an alcohol brand, he can put it on Distel. And now all of a sudden, they can call you, Rupert, you've been captured, but you are now creating jobs for black people. You are now pushing a brand, and we miss these things because of our emotions. One of the coolest ideas I've ever had when I was young, which has still not been actioned, for the purpose of nation building. Our politicians don't want nation building because they will lose votes. They need identity politics. You must be like, hey, Sabazondungam, I'll vote for you. Oh, I don't like black people, I'll vote for you. Exchange programs in Makasi and the suburbs. I used to study at a school, ex-Model C, Newcastle High School, where we would get kids from America, from Germany, to come and be here for 6 months. I've always said, why are we not getting white kids, top white kids, to go and stay Ekasi for 3 months and live Ekasi with black parents and go to a Kasi school. And while they're at that school and when they're with those parents, those kids have a responsibility to be like, this is what we do at home. And at that school, they'll be like, no, this is how our teacher teaches us. And then take the black kids from Ekasi and send them to the white schools for 3-6 months to go and pick up some of the stuff there. And then tell them, this is what we do Ekasi, and begin exchanging. When these Kasi kids go back, they'll be like, hey, Yazongamla, this is what they do. At the same time, they bring certain flavors into the white Twatwa. Would note, our teacher taught us the song for maths. And they're like, oh, we've never thought of that. So that's how you remember the formula. Like, yeah, Tina, we sing it. Because, black people, we love music. So this worked. And like, we now have that. Where did you get it? No, we've built a Lion King because someone from a black background came with this flavor and it's worked. We're not willing to reach out to each other. And that's where we lose it. And because of the history, and yes, we have to blame Ongamla. Ongamla were the perpetrators and the instigators of the suffering. They could have come in and we could have built something. So yes, we have to blame them. But we're here now and we're trying to move forward. And to do that, you need to transcend the history and look beyond race and try and find someone's character and be like, look, I want to meet this guy. He's done something great. I want to do something similar and I'm going to do whatever it takes. Use social media, whatever the case may be, to reach these people. If I can reach Rob, if I can reach yourself, if I can reach some of the people I've met, and this is me with my mouth. It might be you with what you've built. You work with your hands, an artwork you've made, a play that you've put together. It'll reach the Mbongeni Ngemas who tell you, oh, let's create a play. All of a sudden, you've changed the world. So we need to use the internet. We're young, the platforms are there. Start where you are, use what you have a vision, have the etiquette, understand that your brand is built from when you're young, and everyone you're interacting with could be a potential somebody one day to open a door for you. And then every single day, success lies in your daily habits. If your daily habits are on point, it's just a matter of time.
I like that. Success lies in your daily habits. Start where you are. Start where you are. Use what you have. They say when you're going to copy well. Usually, when I want to get into a certain circle and grow my brand and get into a certain type of network of people, I never ask anyone for anything,
Boom.
including a mentor. I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm not going to ask you for anything. I would rather do it the other way around. I'd rather identify things that you need in your business or in your ecosystem that you would normally pay for, and things that I think I can bring to the table without you paying for them. And when
Sure.
you are asking for an invoice from me when I'm supposed to pay you, I'd be like, no, it's okay, sir, it's
Please.
on me. No, but that's how you make a business. You're a business person. We want to pay you. Thank you, Siyabonga. Please send us an invoice. So you don't have to. Thank you, sir. I've won that person for the rest of my life. That's how I've hustled in growing my network. And those are some of the things that I can share out there.
I just want to touch on that because young Tinta, man. one of the things I learned along the way, from reading, from watching stuff, from listening, because the other very important thing is to constantly be sucking in information and knowledge and building an algorithm in your head to sift what works for you, what doesn't. You don't go to a potential mentor and ask for stuff. It's so off-putting because especially if they're rich, everyone wants something from them. It's annoying. You go there and you offer to do something for them. Like I said, it's the pain points. How can I help you? You go to them and you're like, oh, Spoon, and you're like, Spoon, how can I help you? You're like, no, man. You're struggling. You feel like it takes, and you're like, it doesn't matter. There's something that I can do for you. What can I do for you? It's a game changer. One of the chats you had, I don't know this gentleman's name, but I think TEA, Bulelani.
Oh, Tia, Bulelani.
And
Bulelani Balabala.
He said something
He's
about...
one of my mentees, actually. I'm very proud of you, Bulelani.
No, he said something about the ability to buy, let's say, your mentor a meal. You don't have much money, and it's refreshing because I'm so used to paying for...
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're like, no, I'll cover. You're like, please, can I? You're like that's new. That's different. So I'm very touched because it's that when you want to... That's why I said working. Like, I want you to mentor me, but can I push more fire for you? I'm not like, no. Can I help you grow your brand? Or you want to make money? Forget about money. I want to help you. What's your pain point? You want to be a billionaire by this year. You want to get this many subscribers. I'm gonna focus on helping you do that. It only holds that you're gonna let me in. This is my personality. Other people are transaction based because let's say I want to be a good engineer or accountant or whatever. So I'm like, this is what I do for a living. This is how I'm gonna help you. I personally love building genuine relationships. I want us to be mates if we're not making any money together, if we're not on a platform together, because I don't care that much about money. I care more about people. And I know how valuable people are. When people talk about, yeah, but you need money to build a skyscraper. I'm like, yeah, they didn't have money to build the pyramids. They had people. And if you can get the right people to do things for you and to believe in you and to buy into you, you'll never need money. There was a conversation that was had about Cyril versus Jacob Zuma. Cyril, it seems, buys loyalty and affection. Jacob Zuma wasn't using money. He reached out to people. He spoke to them in their language. He sounded like someone you know. Not to Babu Amro, he's cracking pop jokes. Because he knows that when you invest in, I guess what you call social capital, in the people, that's more valuable than any money. So for me, maybe for other people as well, if when you do meet someone, don't keep thinking, what I'd be like, hey, how's your daughter doing? You know, oh, I heard this is what's happening. Manje, let's stay in hospital. Last time, they may not notice, it's fine, but this is you trying to be like, I want to genuinely care. You said you had a toothache. Did you go to the dent? Like, oh, snap, you remember that? You're like, because I'm genuinely trying to build something with you that's bigger than money. I want you later on, when you hate me and I've become Hitler and I'm bombing worlds, to be like, no, he's become a very evil guy. But that guy used to genuinely care. He genuinely used to care.
They call it a deposit of favors.
Deposit of favors.
Man withdraw anytime, yeah.
Boom.
You do so, you bring so much value for them that you won't even have to withdraw one day.
Nah.
They would offer. They're going to offer you something so big that you never thought they could offer you or give you something like that onto the table as a thank you.
Yeah.
Right? But that's over a long period of time.
Yeah.
When they've trusted you, they've brought you into that ecosystem because of how you came in, but you've also proven yourself to be somebody who is coming from a very good home, who was taught well, who's respectful, who is willing to work and learn, who's humble enough to respect the boundaries also of the relationships. We can go on the whole day, me and Penuel. So I understand why you guys honored him for the third time. I don't know, are we on 30 minutes now? We're going to have to wrap it up. It's probably an hour. I don't know. Guys, let's wrap it up. Let's hear from them. What do you guys, you want another one? Because we wrote down some topics, right? And we've only covered 3, if not 4. But we wrote down maybe 8 or 10 topics. But what I would like for us to do maybe is to wrap it up for now and save the best for the Nhlanhla interview. How's that?
I'm going to make it happen.
You promise? So you're going to bring him here?
I don't like making promises I can't keep, but I'm going to do my best
to
get Nhlanhla here. And if I deliver, then people will know this guy delivers.
Thanks, I miss you, man. And the day you come here, I'm also gonna put on my military because Nhlanhla was his military soldiers.
Camouflage.
I'm gonna put on my Mofire camouflage.
Sure.
You must also come in your Operation Dudula camouflage. So I'm
Come
looking
on.
forward to that one.
Siyabangena. Sbuda, thank you for the energy.
Thank you,
I
bro.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Easy, Holmes.
It's good to have you back once again. Guys, let's hear those comments. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm definitely sure you do want another one because there's so many things that me and Penuel touch on, and I'm sure you guys do pick up some gems here and there. You don't have to agree with us on a lot of the things that we say. You probably even are pissed off on some of the things. You probably have your own opinions, which is great. Put them on the comment section. Nothing has to always be positive, but I'm glad we're touching on some points that might be helpful to some hustlers out there. I'll see you guys in the next episode. We appreciate you. If you forgot to click that like button, if you forgot to click that subscribe button, please do so. I'll see you guys soon. Young people are doing great things with their lives. The question is, what are you doing with yours?
This is the Hustler's Corner.